I want to appreciate everyone for being here again today. The devil really wanted to stop this because of marriage. Marriage, you know, is ritual, and he's just looking for a way to stop us, but he has lost. I'm so glad that we are here. I'm seeing beautiful faces, couples, wonderful pastors here, and this evening is special because I'm having someone in our midst this evening that I respect so much. You know why? Because she, wherever she is, whenever I call her, she picks my call. Do you know when you know someone is so busy, but you know she loves you so much that even when she is in America, even midnight when I call, I say, Elizabeth, I'm picking your call. I love her so much. But before I even became a sex director, I got in contact with this woman, and I love her so much. And my husband is even passionate about her. And there's some virtues I learned from her, and the opportunity she gave me. So I always tell her, when I'm doing things, I let her know, and she counsels me. And tonight, she's not supposed to be here by virtue of everything she has, but she's dropped all of that to be here tonight. So please celebrate with me. I call her Her Excellency Elizabeth Ozua. Please, you can just Google her if you don't know her. So it's I don't know what to use. Is it an honor or a privilege, or I don't know, all of them together to make her be here. I am so humble. Thank you very much. This woman is busy. Really super busy, but for her to be here to support me, to encourage me, she said, don't worry, I'll be here today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This moment is very special. This moment is very special because the person I'm about to call now is a woman of wisdom. We've been hearing a lot of seminars on how to enrich our marriages, how to revive our homes. And in the afternoon, we had panelists, answering questions. We dealt with some questions in the afternoon. If you permit this person I'm about to call to speak to you about marriage, just through her story or lifestyle or what she has experienced, you know that she is full of experience and wisdom. I remember, let me give you instance. There was one of the events I went to, and as soon as I got there, I got so excited. I've seen my national. In Mary Kay, national is like the president. So you don't understand me. When I'm saying national, it's like the president of, am I lying?
For many years,
she's been here. So it's like the president of a country. So I was excited, and I went to greet her. And I was like, my husband will come and greet. He said, no. You want to bring your husband to come and greet me? No, I stand up and go and greet your husband. I said, okay. I learned something from there. Maybe you don't understand. She told me, no, you don't tell your husband to come and greet me. I go and meet your husband where he's seated to greet him. I'm like, okay. She didn't even know that. I picked something from there. So, okay. With a caliber, I'm like, okay, I've learned that. I celebrate her, and she wants to just give us 10 minutes word of wisdom, advice, and I know that your coming today will be blessed by listening to her. And I beg her to give us 10 minutes talk. Welcome with me, Her Excellency Elizabeth Ozua.
Good evening, everyone. I feel so honored to be in the presence of very special people because I believe everyone in this room is very special. There's a reason why God has brought all of you together. I don't have any exclusivity to wisdom or special words to share. I'll just share a little bit of the knowledge of things that I know that has helped me to bring me to where I am today. But before I say anything, I just want to honor and thank Apostle and Pastor Kemi and Yomi for putting this together. Can we give them a round of applause? I'm also a huge supporter of My Marriage Must Work ministry. And I love that title. My marriage must work. Because you're saying something to yourself that whatever it takes, I am ready to put myself on the line to make my marriage work. And sometimes it's not just marriage. It might be a relationship you have with all sorts of people. the commitment. That title shows you attitude, it shows you belief, it shows you commitment. It talks about the consistency, daily making things happen, the discipline in working towards making things happen. That is in the title of Like My Marriage Must Work. I remember there was a time Pastor Kenny battled with, should she change the title? And I was praying, I never said anything to her. But I was praying, don't change that title. There's a reason why God gave you that title. That title means you're willing to fight. You're willing to do whatever it takes. And that's what it takes to be in a marriage. It's just a pity that my husband is not here. And I said to some people, I feel so naked not having him because we go to everywhere together. We've now been married this year, 39 years. Wow. Yes. Next day is our 40th anniversary. Wow. And I've known him for 45 years. I met him my first year in the university. The first person I ever met. And I remember my mother saying to me, whoever told you the first person you set your eyes on, you're talking about marriage. I was so young. But you know what? I've forgotten who said, oh yes, our celebrants. Can we give them a round of applause? Celebrating their anniversary. He said when he met his wife, he knew he had met his wife. The moment I set my eyes on my husband, I knew he was my husband, and he felt that way. How would I, first year in the university, never loved a man before, but I knew. And we've been on this journey together. Has it been easy? No. It's had all sorts of things. I'm not here to start pontificating or advising you and telling you we're the best. I just want to share some of the things that have helped us. In all my years of being married, we've never had a third party settle anything in our marriage. Not a pastor, not my parents, not my friends, not his friends. Any issue we've had, we've always been able to resolve it between the two of us. One of the things I always recommend to people, especially young people, when they come to me when they are preparing for marriage, never allow a third party into your marriage, even your pastor. I'm sorry, there are many pastors here. You know why I say that? Because there's someone who you love. You will always come from their angle to advise them from their angle. How dare you? I never went to my mom, even when he offended me. I don't even know where I got that wisdom from, very early in my life. But we will sit down. If it's till 5 a.m. in the morning, we won't sleep until we solve that problem. And that has really helped us tremendously. And secondly, communication. I'm sure you heard it throughout this weekend. We communicate all the time. If I look at my husband without saying anything, he can read my mind. And the same thing, if he looks at me without saying a word, I can tell. When we go to somewhere and he looks at me, I know it's time for us to go. I get my bag ready. We're not going to argue about it, and off we go. So that ability to communicate, no matter what it is. Because I know women, when we get hot, what do? We go into our shelves. And the man is looking at you and asking you what's the matter. You say there's nothing wrong. But he can tell that there's something wrong. How do you expect him to resolve whether the issue is when he doesn't even know what is troubling you? And then you just say, I have a headache. No, you don't have a headache. Tell him what the problem is. And similarly, sometimes, men, you say it as it is. You can be more sensitive towards saying things. If you knew me a few years ago, I was a little bit more voluptuous than I am now. And my husband would say, how did he used to put it? There's something of God. There was a very diplomatic way he said it. But I didn't need him to talk more. I knew I had to work on what I needed to work on. And I got the results that made both of us comfortable. And he wasn't coming in from it from a vain point of view. He was worried about my health and the implications and going forward what he could do. Why am I bringing this example? There might be issues you want to address in your marriage, and there might be more sensitive ways of doing it so that you can get better results. As I look at each and every one of you, I see the love this weekend. And I'm so glad you've taken time out to kind of renew, re-energize, and refocus on your marriage. Because sometimes we have so many distractions. Life happens. And when life begins to happen, we take the focus off ourselves. And without realizing it, we're growing apart. We might be kneeling down every morning to say prayers. We might be holding hands when we are eating. But at the same time, we can be growing apart. But coming to weekends like this kind of refocuses you. I see some of you dancing, and I can tell you haven't danced like this in a very long time. Because sometimes when you're pastoring, you're focusing on that. You're leading the people, you're leading the flock, you're praying for them, you're focusing on their problems, and your tank runs empty. It's always important to refill yourselves. I would suggest, even if it's not coming to the marriage must work retreat, find time to go on a retreat every year. My husband and I, we do at least 6 holidays, just the 2 of us every year.
Wow.
And when I say 6, it doesn't have to be expensive. It could just be a weekend away, down the road. We live in Essex in Hornchurch. Sometimes we go to a hotel in Canary Wharf. How many minutes down the road? And we spend the weekend there. And it's just the 2 of us at home. A friend said to us, why would you leave your house? It's just the 2 of you at home and go to a hotel. Because it's a different environment. Come on. When I'm at home, I'm dusting, I'm cleaning, I'll always find something to do. But when it takes me away to a hotel, there's nothing to dust. I give you 1,001%. So start thinking about that. These are the kind of things that will give you a healthy relationship. You're not sitting down there and worrying about the bills and what have you. That weekend you're just focusing on each other. There's a particular room we love to book. We book that room and we sit there, we're looking at the River Thames. And sometimes for 2-3 hours, we're sitting there looking, not saying anything to each other. But it's giving us time for us to reflect. And by the time we're going home, our tanks are full. There's joy in our heart. I bet you tomorrow as you're driving home, some of you will be singing. But one thing I want you to think about as you go home tomorrow, what have you taken away from this weekend? Share it with each other. Men, ask your wives, what have you taken away from this weekend? And women, ask your husband, what have you taken away? Because it's so important that you share what you've taken away. Because what you have taken away from a man's perspective will not be what you have taken away from a woman's perspective. Then when we share the things we've taken away, it begins to make sense. Then you begin to see how I think. And I also begin to understand how you reason. And these are the things that will make the union even better and stronger. And I talk about, one of the things I talk about, humility. Humility is so important in marriage. Jesus Christ showed us how to be a humble heart. In the Middle East, the feet is the dirtiest part of the body. But he washed the feet of his disciples. He was showing us humility. When we are humble in our marriages, we are an example to other people. And Kenny, thank you for sharing that. I always believe, because you come from an African background, no matter how young a man is, I respect them. I respect my son. I'm his mom. But it's natural. But you know what? As they say, kindness begets kindness. The same thing, when I respect you, what do you think will come? It's reciprocal. You too will respect me. So having respected Apostle Kemi, Apostle Eljobi, Apostle Mami in turn respects me. So similarly, let's share this with our flock. Because I'm beginning to see another thing in our community. When women begin to earn money and go up in the world, they begin to flex. They are no longer humble. They are no longer respectful. They no longer honor their men. Please, please, we women, we need to talk about it. Another thing I'm seeing in our community, women are no longer mothers to their children. They are busy chasing money. And what has happened? Our children are falling into the wrong hands. I have a brother who's a solicitor. He runs a law firm. Anytime he comes back from prison visits, he's always very upset. The number of Nigerian children and African children who are in jail is so heartbreaking. Because what has happened? Mothers have forgotten to parent their children. Everybody's busy. Reverend Sumba, I'm so sorry to use you as an example. I love the earrings you're wearing. And if I don't buy that earring, I'll die. Therefore, I'll take 10 shifts to be able to buy that earring, to the detriment of my children. And then, do you know what they call the latchkey children? Those who wear the key on their neck when they are going to school. Do you know they pray on them? At the school gates, they have those men who are sitting there and watching them. They know the children whose parents do not drop them and pick them up. Those are the ones who they pray on. And you know what? After school, they take them to a fish and chip shop or a chicken shop. Have you ever wondered why around schools there's so many chicken and chip shops? And you have told her, when you get home, you know that rice I cooked? 1 little, this is a gift to your brothers and your sisters. Thinking, I might as well eat the chicken and chips. And the man pays for it. he's happy. Tomorrow he gives him a package, drop it in number 4. What do you think he's giving him? Drugs. This is how it starts. You know, I traveled around a lot to train, and I remember I was training in Milton Keynes. I was going into the person's house. The place was cordoned off, lots of police, lights and everything. And when I came in, she was asking me, "Oh, did the police stop you?" I said, "Why would they stop me? I haven't done anything wrong." Cut a long story short, a child had been stabbed to death. And they were looking for the people who killed the child. And they came to this pastor's house, they knocked on the door. And the pastor said, "Come in, come in, come in, you've come to the wrong house." Because he's thinking he's a pastor, his children are all okay. Guess what? The knife they used in stabbing the boy was under his son's bed. The son is in jail now as we speak. And as far as he was concerned, every Sunday he took him to church. And he was saying, where did he go wrong? He went wrong because taking a child to church doesn't mean you parented the child. And thank you, Pastor, for sharing that you needed to parent your children first before they could listen about anything you had to say about God. That's the way to do it. And thank you also for sharing that you overdid it to the detriment of your family. Because that's one of the things we don't admit. My husband, I give 101% before, above, and any other thing. And he does the same to me. And that's the reason our relationship keeps going from strength to strength on a daily basis. So let's retrace our steps. I always talk about a work from home mom and a stay at home mom. A work from home mom does something, she earns money working from home. So that's the kind of thing we need to be encouraging our women to start doing once more. If you look back, that's why a lot of our mothers were selling, buying and selling. Because they stayed at home and were parenting us while our dads did the running around. It could be the other way around. It could be the man who would stay at home and look after the children, but we need one person to do that. So as I round up this evening, I just want to say thank you for honoring this ministry. It's a ministry after my heart, and that's why I'm here. We had an event earlier, but I said I must be here whatever it takes, and that's why I'm here. But I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have supported by being here. And thank you, our amazing Pastor Kemi and Apostle Yomi, for the amazing work you're doing in this ministry. Marriages are under attack. We have to be vigilant. Our eyes have to be open. We need to speak to others. When you see your sister doing the wrong thing, call her aside and whisper in her ears. They say it takes a village to bring up a child. In my own, it takes a whole lot of us to look after our community. When you succeed, I've succeeded. That's how we'll be looking at things. So the more of us who succeed, the more successful our community will be. Only we can become what we want the world to see us as. When we came here, marriage was so important to us and in the forefront. As I listen to women, it's no longer the case, and it breaks my heart. It shouldn't be that way. You can have it all when you're willing to do it all. And it's not just praying, it's practical example. You cannot be praying and doing something different. The two of them have to be in union. Really, let us fight that our marriage must work. Because when we fight for our marriage to work, it will work. Thank you once more. Have a nice evening. And if you have to dance, it's time for you to dance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I said it.
Wow.
She downloaded a lot in 10 less than 15 minutes. Oh, glory be to God. She wasn't here since Friday. Did you hear this? Like summary of communication and everything we've treated, she just summarized it. Thank God for the Holy Spirit. Thank you very much once again.